Hi, I hope everyone's having a great day, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel, Finding America. If this is your first time here, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and come check out a video or two. Now this video and this hunt, it was the kind of hunting that we love to do. We're back out in the woods, and we finally got cool weather, the leaves are down. We just get out there and try to find things deep in the woods. So that's what we did, and the first section of woods we picked out was next to a Civil War camp that we found last year, and it was a bust. It was just, we swung and swung. I found a fired pistol ball finally, but after an hour or two of that, it just wasn't happening. So we decided to move on. And as we were driving out of that area, there's a church right next to these woods, and I've always wanted to hunt this church, but I've never found anyone there. But lo and behold, today there were cars there, and they were outside. So I got to speak to them, and I talked to the deacon and the minister, and they all gave us total permission to hunt anywhere we wanted to. It was awesome. So we were pretty fired up, and we got to hunting, and after 2 hours, you know, it's one of those permissions that you just want to hunt, and it looks so good, and then when you get into it, there's nothing there. No matter what we did, we couldn't get anything. So we thought back to the video we did earlier this year called Blue, Gray, Silver. In that video, we found a couple Civil War bullets at the very outside of these woods on the fringes there, and so I found a 3-ringer, and Chris found an infield, and we told ourselves we're going to come back here as soon as these leaves drop and it gets cold and the snakes are hiding. So that's what we did, and let me tell you, we got into those woods. It was so thick, it was like a briar patch, and so much garbage. We actually had to hike probably a 1/4 mile into these woods, maybe half a mile, before we could get away from all the garbage people had left. And we swung for a couple hours, nothing. About the 3rd hour, we found a cleared out section, started going up it. I told him, I said, that looks really good, let's try that. And the finds started popping, and we found some really nice finds, and then towards the end of the day we found a killer find. I found a find that I just was so thrilled to see, and I'd never seen it before. So after a bit of a slow start, to say the least, this actually turned out to be a great day, and it ended up being a day that we got to do what we love the most, and that's finding America. We've been hunting in these woods, and it's super thick. It's like a little briar in a briar patch. And we found a little clearing. Came out, and Chris met me out here, and he actually made a pretty neat find.
I think it's an iron boot heel plate.
I don't know.
I see some knobs sticking out of it from nails.
Never seen anything like that. Either that, or it's
the world's smallest horse.
Yep. A little Shetland pony or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very unusual. So after fighting the briar patches for a couple hours, we finally got to a cleared out spot in the woods, and it looked good. And we started going up the hill, and about halfway up I finally got a decent signal. Okay, so we've been hunting in the woods for about 4 hours, up and down a ravine, and I got a 1235, and I told Chris, it's after I popped the plug, it's still in the hole. It might not be a beer can lid.
Oh, thank God.
And then I moved over here. Can you see it?
Yeah, look at that thing.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, it's just a chess piece.
Civil War lead.
Wow.
Now, I am not an expert on bullets. I know my basic bullets, but I don't know what this one is. But it is nice.
Ring. That could be Confederate.
Yeah. This is the Confederate side of town.
Is it wormed?
Let me take a look. No, it looks like it might have been ramrodded a little bit.
Rat nose.
So very cool.
Okay.
So now we have an average of 1 bullet per 4 hours. Hopefully we're going to start circling. Once you find a nice drop like this, you just start circling around, and hopefully you're within a camp. It's definitely nice to see this in the dirt. So no sooner did I turn the camera off, put my gloves back on, and Chris calls out. This is where I found the bullet. This is where I found my bullet. And Chris is about 15 feet away, and he just said he got some nice lead.
Another weird looking one.
Oh yeah, that's good. Oh wow, is it a 69?
No.
Oh, that looks just like mine actually. No, that's a little different.
That is different.
Wow. What's it base?
Wow. Oh, look at that. It's on an angle.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice one.
Wow.
Bear with me.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, that's a nice one. Wow. Hey.
It's going to have to take some studying, I know, man.
Yeah. There's probably someone out there going, hey, dummies. Don't you know what that is?
Wow.
Now that, I have never dug one of those.
No.
That is very cool.
Look, it's got that weird...
Yeah, it's got a similar base to mine.
Yeah.
But very crude. Look at how crude that is. That's weird.
Maybe camp made?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of leaning.
Hey, I've never seen one with
like
an angle on the base.
The leaning mini of Pisa.
I actually had that signal when you called me over.
Really?
Yeah.
Now this one looked like it got
it.
ramrodded a little bit too. So hopefully we're on a Confederate camp. That would be incredible. Well, we just got a 12-18 signal, and it's down about 4 or 5 inches, and I got a very old shotgun shell. This is the paper style, and on the back it's a 12 gauge. It says Western Field. Hopefully I can get that in focus for you. Well, that's a pretty old one. Well, we're climbing this hill in the woods. I got a 12-11 signal, which is lower than a nickel, and I got these really big roots dug down, and looks like a handle to a utensil down here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can pull it out of here. Cool. Nice old. Well, that's an old one actually. Very nice. A little silver plating on it. I'll get that one cleaned up. That's real nice. Definitely has some age to it. Well, still in the woods, and I'm having a heck of a day. This has just been it was a slow starter, but boy, once it started, it started pretty good. Going around, got a 1243 signal, and it was really deep. I was expecting maybe a penny or something, but yeah, it was we're talking about 8 inches, and I got a silver dime. Unfortunately, it's not war era, it's a mercury, but I'm gonna get it cleaned up, and I will be right back. Well, she is definitely pretty, and it's a 1923 Philadelphia. Pretty nice shape. That's amazing. All kinds of neat things coming out of these woods. And I got about another half hour to swing before it gets dark, and we have to hike all the way back to the vehicle. So hopefully I'll see if I get anything else. Next signal I got was a 1217, but it was showing really deep. And I dug down, that is a honest 8 inches down, and I can't believe what it was. It was this tiny, tiny little disc. It's got a tree on it that says Solngen, which I believe is a brand of boot, but I am not positive. Boy, this thing is really tough for me just to even hold one to show you. But it's just amazing that I was able to get that at 8 inches. It's so tiny. But I'll take a close-up picture so you can have a look at it. Now, before I go to and show you what this next target was, I just want to apologize right now because I'm going to say something I probably say in every single video I put out. And that's dig it all, and you never know what's going to come out of that hole. And this one, since we were in the woods, we dig every single repeatable signal, even if it's a 1. You'd just be surprised what these little tiny low numbers are. So I got a 1228. Now, of course, that's going to be a great signal to dig in the woods looking for Civil War relics. But this 1228 could have been in a park or on a sidewalk strip, and some people might have passed it up. So I always say, dig everything, because some of the coolest stuff I've ever found falls in that trash range. And I'm real glad I dug this one up. All right, I've got something incredibly cool in the hole, and it's not Civil War, and I'm just not very far from where I found the bullet. Chris! Come on. I'm trying to get Chris to come over from the woods here. He's gonna freak when he sees this. Bear with me, he's almost here, but I dug up something round. I thought maybe soldier ID tag. You know, you get in that frame of mind, you're just thinking Civil War. And come here, Chris.
Big.
Yeah. Check it out. What does it say on there, man? Now, when I first dug this thing, it was only an inch or 2 down, and it was just a big, looked like a copper disc, and I kind of had Civil War relics on my mind, so I was dreaming it was a Civil War ID tag, but it was too thin, and I couldn't see anything on it, so I started cleaning it, and it took a while, and I finally started seeing some detail, and what I saw after that, wow, I was like, oh my gosh, because I saw the name Babe Ruth on the top of this piece. It says, don't take it yet.
Ruth.
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth Esso.
Esso stations.
Oh, wow.
Oh my, I have never seen this piece before.
Is it a keychain tag?
No, I have no idea.
Wow.
It says something here. Boys, we're going to get this cleaned up, but this is awesome. It says Babe Ruth
Boys Club?
Esso stations. I'm going to clean this up. This is just incredibly cool.
Wow.
Oh, this makes my day. I'll come back to you as soon as we get it cleaned up. Okay, well, this piece is incredible. I am so stoked to have this thing. This is a 1930s. On the top it says Babe Ruth, and on the bottom it says Boys Club. Now, it's a baseball. You can see the stitching maybe. Let me see if I can get a good shot of this. It's made to look like a baseball, and on each side it says charter member. So it was Babe Ruth Boys Club charter member. And in the center it was Esso dealer stations. And this is part of a promotion that they had back in the 30s. And I want to get a few more details, but I believe it was originally a pin. But it's about the size of a silver dollar. I mean, it's just an awesome piece. I am so thrilled to have this.
Esso had the dinosaur, didn't it?
No, that was Sinclair.
Sinclair.
Yeah. Esso was red, white, and blue. That's a cool find. That's a Babe Ruth Boys Club charter membership pin. It was given away by the Esso gas stations in 1934. The kids would go into the gas station, fill out an entry form, entering the contest, and they would give them these membership pins. And these pins are really rare today. There's not a whole lot of them out there, so they actually reproduce them, but they're not quite like the originals. But when they entered the contest, they were entering to win a Babe Ruth home run fielder's glove, personally autographed baseball, and then they got a free trip to the Babe Ruth spring training camp. So it was like every boy's dream back then. I've always wanted to find something, some kind of memorabilia that Babe Ruth had something to do with, and I finally did.